Today, we're diving into one of America's most iconic and collectible coins, the Lincoln Wheat Cent. From its history and hidden rarities to what makes some of them worth thousands, we've got it all covered. Top 1. Have you ever held something so small, so ordinary looking, and yet so powerful that it could change your life in a second? That's exactly what we're talking about today, a single penny. Not just any penny, but the 1941 Wheat Penny. A coin that could be sitting in your change jar, lost in a drawer, or buried in a forgotten box in your attic. A coin that, in the right condition, has sold for as much as $78,000. Yes, $78,000, for a 1-cent coin. This isn't a myth, it's not hype, it's history, rarity, and collector demand, all converging on a single, humble piece of copper that has become the holy grail for certain coin collectors. And if you think all pennies are created equal, then think again. Because the 1941 Wheat Penny is proof that even the smallest things can carry immense value. Let's rewind to 1941. The world is at war. Europe is deep in the throes of World War II. The US is teetering on the edge of involvement. It's a time of rationing, sacrifice, and uncertainty. And yet, in the midst of all this, the US Mint is still producing coins, including the Wheat Penny. Named for the two stylized wheat stalks on the reverse side, the Lincoln Wheat Penny was already a familiar sight in Americans' pockets by 1941. But what most didn't know at the time was that this particular year would become iconic for reasons far beyond ordinary circulation. The 1941 Wheat Penny wasn't made of precious metals. It wasn't encrusted with diamonds. It wasn't even particularly rare, at least not in the way you might think. Over 1 billion of them were minted. That's right, more than 1 billion coins bearing the date 1941 were struck and released into circulation. But rarity isn't always about numbers. It's about condition. It's about errors. It's about provenance and intrigue. And the 1941 Wheat Penny has all of those things. Let's talk about condition. Most of the 1941 Wheat Pennies you'll find today are worn, scratched, oxidized. They've passed through countless hands, fallen between car seats, scraped against pavement, rubbed raw inside pockets and purses. But every once in a while, one surfaces in pristine, untouched condition, a coin that looks like it was minted yesterday. Perfect luster, sharp lines, no marks, no signs of wear. These are the coins collectors dream of, and they fetch enormous prices. And then there are the errors, the happy accidents of the minting process. Off-center strikes, double dice, clipped planchets. These are anomalies that make a coin stand out, that turn a common item into a numismatic marvel. The 1941 Wheat Penny is known to have some fascinating error variants. A double die obverse version, where the date and lettering appear to be slightly doubled due to a misalignment during striking, can catapult the value of this 1-cent coin into the thousands. And if that error happens to appear on a coin in near mint condition, that's when the big money starts flowing. Now here's where it gets really interesting. There was a 1941 Wheat Penny discovered in recent years that stunned collectors around the world. It wasn't gold. It wasn't silver. It wasn't unique in composition. But it was immaculate. A stunning MS-68 red, a grade so high, so pristine, that it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. The penny was bright, gleaming copper, not a spot of tarnish, not a whisper of wear. Just perfection. And it sold for $78,000. That's right, $78,000 for a coin that, 80 years ago, was worth a single cent. Imagine that. Imagine finding that coin tucked away in an old piggy bank. Or sitting unnoticed in a coin jar, just another brown disc among hundreds. That's the thrill of collecting. That's the magic of numismatics. The possibility that something ordinary could, in fact, be extraordinary. So what exactly makes this coin so special? It's not just the grade. It's the story. It's the era it came from. The 1941 Wheat Penny is a time capsule. It's copper mined and minted before the US switched to steel pennies in 1943 due to wartime metal shortages. It's a piece of the American home front, circulating at a time when citizens were buying war bonds, collecting scrap metal, and sending sons and daughters overseas. Every 1941 penny is a survivor of that era, but only a few have been preserved so well that they remain untarnished by time. To understand the allure of the 1941 wheat penny, you have to understand collectors. For them, this isn't just a coin, it's history frozen in metal. It's a tangible link to a time when the world was changing in seismic ways. When America stood on the precipice of war and everything was uncertain. That's why a pristine coin from this period holds so much emotional and historical weight. That's why collectors are willing to pay a small fortune to own it, but you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 1941 penny is valuable? Start with the basics. Flip it over. Look at the wheat stalks on the reverse. Are they crisp and clean, or are they worn down? Next, check the color. A bright red luster indicates a coin that hasn't oxidized, a key trait of uncirculated condition. Then there's the strike. Is the date clearly visible? Are the letters sharp and distinct? Any doubling of the text or numbers? That could be a double die, a major error that boosts value exponentially, and if you think you found a candidate, get it graded. Professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can assess your coin's condition with extreme precision. They'll assign it a grade on the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. Coins graded 65 and up are considered gem quality, and if yours reaches 68 or higher, you could be looking at tens of thousands of dollars in value. Especially if it exhibits that rich red tone and a full strike. There's also the matter of mint marks. The 1941 wheat penny was minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. While the Philadelphia mint produced the highest quantity, collectors often seek high-grade specimens from all three mints. Some of the rarest and most valuable coins come from Denver and San Francisco, where subtle variations in striking can create collectible subtypes. So what does this all mean? It means that in the world of coin collecting, tiny details matter. A slight shift in a die, a small mistake in alignment, a difference in luster or toning, this can turn a common coin into a treasure worth thousands. And the 1941 wheat penny is a shining example of that phenomenon. It's not about how many were made, it's about how few remain in top-tier condition. But here's the catch, these coins are hiding in plain sight. They're in your pocket change. They're in the dusty corners of estate sales. They're stashed away in forgotten collections, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize them. And that's what makes them so thrilling. The hunt is real. The possibility is real. Someone out there will find the next $78,000 penny. Why not you? Collectors today are scouring coin rolls, attending auctions, pouring through inheritance boxes, all in search of that gleaming, nearly flawless 1941 wheat penny. And when one does show up in high grade, the bidding wars begin. It's not uncommon for these coins to appreciate in value year after year, especially as top-tier examples become scarcer and more coveted. It's also about passion. Because coin collecting isn't just about profit. It's about love of history, appreciation of craftsmanship, and the joy of discovery. The 1941 wheat penny is a symbol of all those things. It reminds us that even the most mundane object can carry deep meaning. That value isn't always obvious. That hidden treasures still exist in the modern world, if you know where and how to look. So the next time you come across a handful of coins, take a closer look. That unassuming copper disc might just be the key to a small fortune. It might be your $78,000 discovery. A reminder that in this world, value often hides in the overlooked, the ordinary, the forgotten. That even a penny, just one penny, can make headlines, ignite bidding wars, and change someone's life. And when you hold that coin in your hand, when you feel its weight, trace its edges, admire its perfect strike and color, you'll understand. This isn't just a coin. It's a relic. A survivor. A story waiting to be told, and that's why the 1941 wheat penny, once worth a single cent, now stands as a beacon in the world of numismatics. A coin that defies expectation. A coin that commands attention. A coin that proves, in no uncertain terms, that value isn't always measured by denomination. Sometimes, it's measured by rarity, by condition, by history, and sometimes, by $78,000. Top 2. What if I told you the smallest coin in your pocket could hold the biggest secret of your life? That a simple, copper-colored penny, worn, overlooked, barely noticed, could be worth more than a brand new luxury car. In a world where value seems to come from shine, from size, from flash, there is a coin that defies it all. A coin born in a time of World War, a coin struck in metal that once echoed through factories and shipyards and battlefields. A coin that was meant to be ordinary, and somehow, became extraordinary, the 1945 Wheat Penny. This isn't just an old coin. This is a key to the past. A gateway into a world that was holding its breath. A year when the world was just beginning to exhale after the most catastrophic conflict in human history. The Second World War was coming to a close. The skies were still dark with smoke, the wounds of nations still fresh. America, victorious but forever changed, was pivoting into a new age. And through it all, millions of coins were being struck at the US Mint, unnoticed, mechanical, efficient, but one of those coins, a simple 1945 Wheat Penny, would later stun the numismatic world. It would rise through auctions, whispered about in collector circles, admired for its untouched perfection, for its rarity, for the miracle of its preservation. And it would command an astonishing price, $73,000. Yes. A penny. 1 cent. Now worth $73,000. If you're not a collector, you might shake your head and say, it's just copper. But that's the illusion. That's the beauty. Because in that tiny circle of metal is history, rarity, craftsmanship, and the irresistible pull of the hunt. The 1945 Wheat Penny isn't just a coin. It's a story, pressed into copper, carried through time, waiting for the right hands to discover it. Let's go back, really back, to 1945. Picture it. Factories clanging with the sound of war production. Families huddled around radios. Headlines announcing victory in Europe, then later, the unthinkable, atomic devastation in Japan. American soldiers returning home, some whole, some not. Mothers working jobs they never thought they'd hold. Children collecting scrap metal for the war effort. The nation on the cusp of victory, and of irreversible change. In the middle of all this, the US Mint continues to produce the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Copper alloy, wheat stalks on the back, President Lincoln's profile on the front. A symbol of continuity in a fractured world. Over a billion 1945 Wheat Pennies were minted across 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. They were made to be spent. To pass from hand to hand. No one expected them to last, not without scratches, dings, dulling, corrosion, and yet, one did. Somehow, one 1945 Wheat Penny survived the passage of time in a way almost no others did. Perfectly struck. Perfectly preserved. Red luster gleaming like it had just been struck yesterday. A flawless coin. An MS-68 red. Among the highest possible grades a coin can receive. Nearly impossible for a circulated coin of that era. And that's where rarity redefines value. It's not about how many were made. It's about how many were kept in pristine, untouched, immaculate condition. Because most of those billion 1945 pennies, they were dropped in parking lots, rubbed against keychains, stuck to gumballs, lost in couch cushions. Worn until they were barely legible. But this coin, this one glorious 1945 specimen, it survived as if the world held its breath around it. That's what collectors live for. The impossible survivor. The coin that makes your pulse quicken when you see it. And when it finally surfaced, it changed everything. Whispers became excitement. Bidding opened, then exploded. And when the hammer finally dropped, the price was nothing short of legendary $73,000. Not for a gold coin. Not for silver. For copper. For a penny. A single 1945 Wheat Penny, and the world took notice. Collectors re-evaluated their boxes, their rolls, their albums. Dealers revisited inventory. People who hadn't thought about pennies in decades suddenly started asking, do I have one of those? Because the thing about a coin like this is, it creates a ripple. It changes perception. Suddenly, the ordinary seems worth a second look. So, how do you know if you're holding something special? First, look closely. Does the date say 1945? Good. Now look at the back. Do you see those two wheat stalks? That's the hallmark of the Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. Already you're in a class of historical significance. Next, check the condition. Is the surface bright? Has it retained that red copper glow? If so, you may be looking at an uncirculated specimen. And that's when things get exciting. Collectors use the Sheldon scale to grade coins, from 1 to 70. Anything above 65 is considered gem quality. But a 68? That's the numismatic equivalent of a unicorn. The higher the grade, the higher the rarity. And if it's designated red, indicating it still possesses at least 95% of its original color, then you're in elite territory. Combine that with the right mint mark, the right eye appeal, the right stripe, and suddenly, you're not holding a coin. You're holding history, wealth, rarity, and a whole lot of attention. Now let's talk about mint marks. The 1945 Wheat Penny was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. While all three are common in circulated grades, high-grade specimens from San Francisco are particularly desirable. Something about the way the dice wore down or were handled that year made certain San Francisco strikes especially sharp and especially collectible. So if your 1945 Wheat Penny has an S under the date and it looks flawless, you may want to start breathing a little faster. You might have something worth a serious second look. And let's not forget error coins. Not all rare coins are about condition alone. Some become valuable because of mistakes, minting errors that slip past quality control. Off-center strikes, double die obverse, die cracks, struck throughs. All of these can add serious premiums to a coin's value. And the 1945 Wheat Penny has known examples of such errors. Some of them command thousands of dollars on their own, even in lower grades, but when you combine an error with a high grade, now you're in the territory of museum-level numismatics. Coins that belong in glass cases. Coins that collectors will fight over. Coins that make headlines. Coins like the one that sold for $73,000. The journey of that particular coin, from a forgotten roll to auction stardom, is a collector's dream. It validates the hours spent searching, studying, comparing. It proves that in a world full of digital currency and crypto wallets, old-fashioned copper still has power. Still has mystery. Still has value. It's why coin shows are still packed. Why coin forums buzz with speculation. Why eBay listings for 1945 Wheat Pennies suddenly spike every time one sells at a record price. Because people understand now, this is real. This is not just a hobby. This is treasure hunting, and you don't need a metal detector or a shipwreck to find it. Sometimes, it's sitting in a mason jar in your grandmother's kitchen. Sometimes, it's forgotten in a drawer of an old desk. Sometimes, it's right there in your hand, and all you have to do is look a little closer. The story of the 1945 Wheat Penny is the story of America in a transitional moment. It's copper mined during a war, pressed at a mint that never stopped working, passed through generations until it landed in the perfect hands. It's not just about the money, though $73,000 is nothing to ignore. It's about the chase, the thrill, the romance of finding something lost, of discovering something no one else saw value in, until it was too late, and now that coin has entered legend. Featured in auction catalogs. Whispered about at collector tables. Pointed out in books. A coin that lived in obscurity and rose to iconic status. And here's the best part, there may be more. In fact, there almost certainly are. The question is, who will find the next one? Will it be someone combing through estate sale boxes? A curious kid learning about coins for the first time? A seasoned collector taking a second look at a coin they passed over years ago. It could be anyone. It could be you, because this story isn't over. The legacy of the 1945 wheat penny continues. Its glow hasn't dimmed. Its allure hasn't faded. It's still out there, reminding us that sometimes the most unassuming things can hold the greatest value. That a tiny, copper disc can change your understanding of wealth, rarity, and history. So the next time you see a penny, don't just walk past it. Don't just toss it in the tray. Look at it. Read it. Hold it to the light. Ask yourself, could this be one of those pennies? Could this be the next one that shocks the top 3? There's something almost magical about old coins. Not just the cold metal or the design carved into their faces, but the stories they carry, the whispers of the past they hold in their weight and shape. Among these stories, none captivate collectors and history lovers quite like the tale of the 1946 USA wheat penny, a coin so rare and pristine that one example alone has been valued at an astonishing $75,000. A simple penny, once worth 1 cent, transformed into a treasure of immense significance. Imagine a tiny piece of copper that, at first glance, looks ordinary. The kind of coin that might be overlooked in your pocket or forgotten in an old jar at the back of a drawer. Yet, beneath that humble surface lies a remarkable story. The 1946 wheat penny is a relic of a world emerging from the shadows of war, a coin minted during a time when America was beginning to heal and rebuild after the devastation of World War II. It's a symbol of resilience, hope, and the enduring American spirit. The story begins in 1946, a pivotal year. The war had ended the year before, but the world was far from peaceful. Soldiers returned home, families reunited, and the country was shifting from wartime production back to civilian life. Factories buzzed with new energy, and the economy surged with renewed optimism. In this atmosphere, the U.S. Mint produced millions of wheat pennies, coins designed not just for commerce but for everyday moments, buying a soda, tipping a waiter, or saving in a piggy bank. The wheat penny itself is iconic. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile stares timelessly ahead, a tribute first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of his birth. On the reverse, 2 stalks of wheat frame the coin, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural roots, a design that endured until 1958. This design speaks to an America rooted in both history and hope, a coin that was meant to be held, spent, and cherished. But what sets the 1946 wheat penny apart isn't just its design or the era it comes from, it's the story of scarcity, condition, and collector obsession that has elevated it to near mythical status. Unlike many coins of its era, the 1946 penny, when found in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, is exceedingly rare. While millions were minted, very few have survived without the marks and wear of decades in pockets and cash registers. Collectors worldwide know that condition is king in coin collecting. The difference between a coin that's been touched by time and one that looks like it was struck yesterday can mean tens of thousands of dollars. Grading systems rank coins from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS70, and the 1946 wheat penny has been found graded as high as MS68 or MS69, a level of preservation that's almost unbelievable considering its age. One particular 1946 wheat penny made history when it surfaced in a professional coin grading auction, shining with a deep red luster, sharp detail, and no signs of circulation wear. It captured the hearts and bids of collectors, eventually selling for $75,000, an eye-popping price for a coin that was once just common pocket change. That sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, redefining what a wheat penny could be worth and inspiring collectors everywhere to re-examine their collections and search with fresh eyes what makes such a price possible. First, its rarity in condition. Over 1.3 billion 1946 pennies were minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but the vast majority of these have been circulated and worn. To find one so flawless, with original mint luster and no surface damage, is like finding a diamond in a coal mine. The color is crucial. Coins with the original red copper tone command the highest premiums because copper naturally oxidizes over time to a brown or black color. Maintaining that bright red glow is a testament to how well the coin was preserved. Mint marks also play a vital role in valuation. The 1946 pennies were struck at 3 different mints, each leaving subtle variations. While the Philadelphia Mint coins bear no mint mark, Denver coins feature a D, and San Francisco coins carry an S. Some collectors price certain mint marks higher depending on rarity, errors, or historical significance. For example, an MS-68 San Francisco S penny might fetch a higher price than its Philadelphia counterpart due to lower survival rates in top condition. Errors add another exciting layer to the value of 1946 wheat pennies. A small percentage of these coins were struck with minting mistakes, doubled dice, off-center strikes, or die cracks, and error coins often command prices far beyond the typical coin. When combined with exceptional condition, these error pennies become the holy grail for collectors. What makes this story even more fascinating is how many of these coins might still be hiding, unknown and unappreciated. Maybe you have a 1946 wheat penny right now, in your wallet, jar, or a box of old coins, unaware of its incredible potential. The thought that something so unassuming could be worth $75,000 is both thrilling and humbling. Collectors spend countless hours hunting for these gems, sorting through rolls of coins, attending estate sales, and scouring auctions. Every time a high-grade 1946 wheat penny appears, it ignites a frenzy, a rush of excitement, bids, and stories shared across forums and social media. The allure isn't just financial, it's emotional. Holding a coin like this connects you directly to history, to the hands that minted it, to the people who once used it. It's a tangible link to a moment frozen in time. The 1946 wheat penny is more than metal and design, it's a symbol of America's post-war resurgence. It's proof that even the smallest things can carry the greatest value. It reminds us that treasures don't always come in large, shiny packages. Sometimes they're copper discs, worn by time but preserved in memory and value. So the next time you find a penny, take a moment to look at it closely. That coin could be a gateway to the past, a key to a fortune, or simply a beautiful reminder of resilience and hope. Because the story of the 1946 wheat penny shows us all that history is alive in our pockets, in our hands, and sometimes worth $75,000. And who knows? The next treasure could be waiting for you. Top 4. There is something truly captivating about old coins, those small, seemingly insignificant pieces of metal that carry the weight of history within their worn surfaces. Among these treasures, one coin stands out in the collective imagination of collectors and history lovers alike, the 1951 USA wheat penny. A coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but holds extraordinary value, with one specimen having sold for a staggering $65,000. A simple penny, originally worth just 1 cent, transformed over time into a prized artifact worth tens of thousands of dollars. But what makes the 1951 wheat penny so special? How does a coin that circulated in everyday pockets and cash registers become a treasure coveted by collectors worldwide? Let's embark on a journey to uncover the story behind this remarkable coin. In the early 1950s, America was a nation rebounding from the tumultuous years of World War II and embarking on a new era of prosperity and innovation. The year 1951 was a time of economic growth, the baby boom was in full swing, and the fabric of American society was evolving rapidly. Despite the modernizing world, the Lincoln wheat penny, introduced decades earlier in 1909, was still in production. This coin, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and 2 stalks of wheat framing the reverse, served not just as currency but as a symbol of tradition and enduring values. The wheat penny's design evokes a sense of nostalgia, a link to America's agricultural roots and the steadfast leadership of Lincoln during a defining moment in history. It was the everyday coin, exchanged in millions of transactions, a tangible piece of the American story. And yet, within the vast number minted in 1951, some pennies have risen above the rest, achieving near-mythical status in the numismatic community. What sets the 1951 wheat penny apart from countless others minted that year is primarily its condition and rarity in high grades. While hundreds of millions of these pennies were produced across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, finding one today in pristine, uncirculated condition is extremely rare. Most coins that survive have been circulated, worn down by time and use, edges softened, surfaces scratched, colors faded. But a few remarkable specimens have escaped the ravages of everyday handling, maintaining their sharp details and original copper luster. The grading of coins is a critical factor in their value. Using the Sheldon scale, coins are rated from poor, P1, to mint state 70, MS 70, with anything above MS 65 considered exceptional. The 1951 wheat penny has been discovered in mint state grades as high as MS 67 and MS 68, grades that denote coins with virtually no imperfections and outstanding eye appeal. These top-tier coins, especially those retaining their original red copper tone, known simply as red in collector terms, command incredible prices. One such red MS 67 specimen famously sold for $65,000, a testament to its rarity and desirability. But how does a simple copper coin achieve such value? The answer lies in a mix of scarcity, condition, and collector demand. Despite the large number minted, the number of 1951 wheat pennies preserved in flawless condition is tiny. Copper, the primary metal in these pennies, oxidizes over time, turning from its original reddish hue to shades of brown or even greenish patina if exposed to moisture and air. Therefore, any coin that has maintained its bright red luster is a precious find. Mint marks add another layer of intrigue and impact on value. In 1951, pennies were struck at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. Collectors often seek specific mint marks, sometimes favoring Denver or San Francisco strikes due to their relative scarcity or distinct characteristics in certain years. For the 1951 wheat penny, high-grade specimens from Denver and San Francisco mints tend to be more desirable, pushing prices upward, especially in red MS 67 or better condition. Adding to the mystique are rare minting errors. Occasionally, coins were struck with anomalies such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks. While not all error coins carry significant value, some 1951 wheat penny errors have been recognized for their rarity and desirability, attracting collectors willing to pay premiums that dwarf those of standard coins. A high-grade error coin from 1951 could easily fetch prices above the typical market range. This mix of historical significance, rarity, condition, and error potential makes the 1951 wheat penny a fascinating object of desire. It's not merely about the monetary value but the story encapsulated in that small disc of copper. The coin witnessed a transformative time in American history. It passed through countless hands, from the pocket of a returning veteran to the cash register of a neighborhood store. Now, it finds itself in collections, auctions, and sometimes unexpectedly in the hands of everyday people who suddenly realize their coin's worth. Collectors often share stories of how a simple roll of pennies, purchased for face value or found in a forgotten drawer, yielded a gem-grade 1951 wheat penny. These tales add to the allure, fueling the dream of discovery and the hope that such treasure might be found in the most unlikely places. The numismatic community thrives on such stories, creating a vibrant culture of enthusiasts who carefully examine each coin for signs of rarity and perfection. The record-breaking $65,000 sale of a 1951 wheat penny set a benchmark, raising awareness and sparking renewed interest. Suddenly, old coin collections were revisited, and new collectors entered the market, drawn by the prospect of owning a piece of history that also holds significant financial potential. Auctions became battlegrounds, with fierce bidding wars over the finest examples. This coin story is also a reminder of the passage of time and the power of preservation. It underscores the importance of caring for coins properly, keeping them safe from moisture, oils, and abrasions that can diminish their condition and value. The high grade of the 1951 wheat penny that sold for $65,000 was possible only because it had been protected, treasured, and preserved by its owners over decades. Looking beyond the numbers, the 1951 wheat penny is a bridge to the past. It invites us to consider the lives touched by that coin, the world it circulated in, and the changes witnessed since it left the mint. From a bustling post-war America to today's digital age, the coin remains a physical link, a reminder that history can be held in the palm of your hand. For many, the thrill lies in the hunt, the search through coin rolls, the careful study of mint marks and grading, the anticipation of finding a hidden treasure. The 1951 wheat penny is emblematic of this pursuit. It's a symbol of hope that even in a mass-produced item, rarity and beauty can emerge. If you ever come across a 1951 wheat penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look for the mint mark, assess its condition, and imagine the journey it has taken. It could be a coin of modest value, or it might just be the next coin to command thousands, even tens of thousands, of dollars. In a world where digital transactions dominate, and paper money seems less common, coins like the 1951 wheat penny remind us of the tactile and tangible history we carry with us. They speak of craftsmanship, of a time when every coin was struck with purpose and care. They embody stories of ordinary people and extraordinary times. The legacy of the 1951 wheat penny is alive and thriving in coin collections, in auction houses, and in the hearts of those who appreciate its rarity and beauty. It challenges us to look closer, to value the past, and to cherish the unexpected treasures that may still lie hidden in everyday places. And so, the 1951 wheat penny continues its journey, not just as a coin, but as a legend, a symbol of the unexpected value in the small and ordinary, a testament to history, and a prize that can still inspire awe and excitement. Who knows where the next great discovery will be? Perhaps it's waiting right under your fingertips. Top 5. The allure of old coins is something almost magical. These small, humble pieces of metal carry within them the essence of history, a tangible connection to times long past, and the silent stories of millions of hands that once held them. Among these treasures, one coin shines with a rare and captivating glow, the 1957 USA wheat penny. A coin that, while once simply worth 1 cent, has transcended its modest origins to become a coveted artifact, with some specimens commanding astonishing prices as high as $63,000. How does a coin so ordinary become something extraordinary? What makes the 1957 wheat penny such a prized possession for collectors and history enthusiasts alike? This is a story not just of copper and design, but of history, rarity, and the incredible journey of a coin through time. The year 1957 was a fascinating moment in American history. The post-war boom was well underway, families were growing, suburbs were expanding, and America was stepping confidently into a new era of optimism and progress. In this dynamic era, the Lincoln wheat penny, with its simple yet elegant design, continued to be struck at the United States Mint, serving as the nation's everyday currency. Featuring Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile on the obverse and the distinctive wheat ears on the reverse, the coin was a symbol of continuity, tradition, and the American spirit. Though the Lincoln wheat penny design had been in circulation for nearly 5 decades by 1957, it still held a place of pride and everyday utility. It was a coin passed from hand to hand, used in countless small transactions, from buying a newspaper to tipping a waiter. Its copper alloy, mainly 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, gave it a warm reddish-brown color that aged with character over the years. But what sets the 1957 wheat penny apart today is not its everyday usage, but its rarity and condition in the realm of coin collecting. While millions of pennies were minted that year, across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, finding one in near-perfect, uncirculated condition is extraordinarily rare. Most pennies from 1957 have seen years of circulation, accumulating wear, scratches, and the darkening patina that copper naturally develops. However, a select few escape this fate, preserved by careful collectors or hidden away in forgotten coin rolls. Maintaining their original mint luster and sharp details, collectors understand the value of condition more than anything else. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with mint state coins, MS, ranging from 60 to 70 indicating uncirculated, pristine condition. The 1957 wheat penny has been found graded as high as MS 67 and MS 68, grades that denote exceptional quality, almost flawless surfaces, and eye appeal. Coins in these grades, especially those retaining their original red copper color, referred to as red by numismatists, are extremely desirable and command significant premiums. One of the most remarkable 1957 wheat pennies ever auctioned was a red MS 68 specimen, which fetched a staggering $63,000. This sale stunned even seasoned collectors and numismatic experts, who marveled at how a coin that once exchanged for a mere cent could command such a lofty price decades later. This coin's pristine condition, brilliant color, and sharp strike made it one of the finest examples known to exist, a testament to how rarity and preservation combine to create incredible value. Beyond condition and color, mint marks also play a crucial role in the 1957 Wheat Penny story. That year, coins were minted in three locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. While Philadelphia's output was the largest, Denver and San Francisco strikes tend to be more sought after by collectors, especially in high grades. The San Francisco Mint, in particular, produces fewer coins and sometimes displays subtle variations that make its pennies even more collectible. An MS-67 or MS-68 San Francisco 1957 wheat penny can often command higher prices than its Philadelphia counterpart, due to both scarcity and collector demand. Errors and varieties also add layers of intrigue to the 1957 wheat penny market. Some coins exhibit doubling of the date or lettering, doubled die, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other anomalies that occurred during the minting process. These errors are rarer than standard issues and, when combined with high grades, can elevate a coin's value dramatically. Collectors prize these error coins not only for their rarity but for their story, the imperfections that reveal the human and mechanical elements behind the mint's precise operations. The journey of a 1957 wheat penny from a common coin to a coveted collector's item is one filled with twists and turns. It might have spent decades in circulation, exchanged at grocery stores or tucked into the bottom of a jar. Then, rediscovered by an astute collector or dealer, its true worth revealed through careful grading and authentication. The thrill of such discoveries fuels the passion of numismatists everywhere, the hope that within ordinary collections or forgotten hoards lie extraordinary treasures. This excitement has propelled the 1957 wheat penny to viral status among collectors and enthusiasts. Social media posts showcasing high-grade examples often garner thousands of views and comments, with enthusiasts sharing stories of rare finds and bidding wars. Auctions featuring these pennies become high-stakes events, with collectors competing fiercely for the chance to own a piece of history that combines artistry, heritage, and tangible value. The $63,000 price tag is more than just a number; it symbolizes the incredible potential hidden within everyday objects, the power of preservation, and the deep human connection to history. It challenges us to look at the small things around us with fresh eyes, to appreciate that beauty and value often lie in the details we might otherwise overlook. For those who own coins from 1957, especially wheat pennies, the story is an invitation. Take a closer look at what you have. Examine the date, the mint mark, the condition. Could you be holding a gem that might one day become as legendary as the red MS-68 that sold for $63,000? While not every coin will reach such heights, every coin tells a story that is waiting to be uncovered. The 1957 wheat penny is not just a coin, it is a witness to history. It traveled through a world on the brink of change, from the dawn of the Cold War to the cultural revolutions of the 1960s and beyond. It reminds us that the past is never truly gone, but lives on in the objects we touch and cherish. It's a tangible piece of heritage, one that continues to inspire, excite, and connect collectors across generations. In a digital age, where money often exists only as numbers on a screen, the physicality of a coin like the 1957 wheat penny is a reminder of our shared history and humanity. It is a symbol of craftsmanship, economy, and the enduring power of a small object to hold immense meaning. The coin's journey from humble currency to a $63,000 collectible is a testament to the magic that can be found in the everyday. So, whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who simply appreciates history, the 1957 wheat penny invites you to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. To look beyond its copper surface and appreciate the story etched into its design, the hands that minted it, and the world it has witnessed. Because sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest treasures, and the 1957 wheat penny is one shining example of that truth. Who knows? Perhaps the next great discovery is waiting just around the corner, hidden in a row of coins, a forgotten collection, or the palm of your hand. The legacy of the 1957 wheat penny continues to grow, captivating new generations and reminding us all that history is alive and sometimes worth $63,000.